Okay, just started recording, and I do believe it is 12 o'clock. So we will get started. Good afternoon. My name is Leola Carter, and I am your host for today's webinar. I am a SCORE mentor in the Minnesota division, where we have over 90 volunteers serving both Manatee and Sarasota counties. I am also on the Education Committee and excited to bring to you today's presentation on strategies to unlock your peak productivity and increase revenue. But before that, a little bit more about us here at SCORE. Oh, I think I've gone to the wrong slide. Oh, I'm in the wrong direction. Sorry about that. A little bit more about us here at SCORE. We are a nationwide organization that is part of the Small Business Administration. What SCORE can do for you? We can provide free mentoring and educational services, such as this webinar, right from that first initial thought about your business all the way up through where it is time to sell. To find us, you can visit our website at score.org/Minnesota, where you will find all of these services. And today would not be possible if it weren't for our sponsors and community partners that we have listed here. Thank you to those organizations. And now it is time to introduce Judith Williams, who is founder of the Diversity Group, a business management consulting firm here in Sarasota. And Judith also works with me at SCORE as one of our subject matter experts. Welcome, Judith. I am going to stop sharing, and you can screen share and begin whenever you would like.
Thank you, and welcome to our to this event today, to our webinar. I am just so happy to see all of you here. We're going to be talking today about strategies to unlocking your peak productivity and increase revenue. Let me go ahead and put this on our slideshow. All right.
Looks good here.
Thank you. Our agenda today is, where do you find the time to manage and grow your business successfully? This has always been a challenge from day one, but however, it seems that since we have entered into the age of artificial intelligence, that has become one of the things that has been more difficult, especially for small micro businesses. I'm a micro business myself. It's just me. I manage anything. I manage everything about my business. And that was really eye-opener for me, because I retired from a large organization, and I just found out when I opened my business how much of resources I had at my fingertip. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this today for people. We're also going to talk about ways to balance business life and personal life. When you're talking about your personal life, I tell you, they're interrupters. And you will find that they will interrupt in your small business, in your business life, whether you are a small business owner or whether you are work for a CEO corporation or whatever. Just personal life will become an interrupter for you, just like COVID did for the rest of us. The new era of doing business. The new era of business is an interrupter. It can either be something that can be actually positive for you, or it can be something negative. Today, we're going to talk about how we're going to turn those interrupters into where they are going to be positive. And then we're going to talk about a few things. I'm going to leave you with a few things about techniques to improve business efficiency by identifying and tracking your time, setting and prioritizing your tasks, and setting realistic goals. A lot of times we do not set realistic goals. The challenge we have about when we're looking at our business and organizing our daily business and incorporating our personal business into our professional business is that it's becoming really a lot more difficult. And the reason why it's becoming a lot more difficult is because we have the artificial intelligence, and we have competitive. It's very competitive now out there. And the reason why it's very competitive is that your ability to swing your business over and change, to start using some of the tools that are out there and available to you, is very important and critical. And the reason why you want to manage that is you want to manage set times so that you will be able to go in and look at those tools and look at those things that are that's going to complement your business. It is a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of resources out there. Which one is good for your business? Even whether or not you are a micro business owner, which is like myself, you're one person, or if you are CEO over a corporation, a huge corporation, all of this artificial intelligence has touched everyone. It has not left no stone unturned. So when you find that you're not, that your interrupters are managing your business rather than you managing your business, it's really hard for you to stay focused. You're a little bit more prone to be distracted, and you just become overworked and unproductive. And if you think that that's something that's only going to happen to people who are having micro businesses, CEO corporations, large corporations, if you have like 500 employees, 100 employees, even if you have 5 employees, if you are not distributing those tasks correctly, and we're going to talk about some tasks, you will find yourself having a high overturn. And human resources, when I want to say human resources, that, when you're hiring and you have an employee, that's an expensive cost for you to train someone. They be on a job for about 5 or 6 months and then they leave. It's an expense. It's a very expensive cost to a small business or even a large corporation. And it's very expensive to you if you are, like myself, a micro business. So let's talk about family versus professional life. When we talk, we don't want, a lot of times we do not integrate the family portion into our professional life. And we really need to start thinking about doing that, because why else are we doing it? We have to go back. Why do we work? There's only 24 hours in a day. We know that. But why do we want, why do we have a small business? Why are we earning money? What is moving us? What is pushing us? What is our goal? And if you have a family, whether it is children, whether they're children or whether they are a spouse or significant other, or whether it's a parent, you really need, and even yourself, when you're managing your time, you want to make sure that you're putting that into your time schedule, because they are some interrupters. Children are some major interrupters. Spouses are some interrupters, but not as much. And then you have your family, where it's your mom or dad that you're caring for. Not as no, they can interrupt, and they can also be help. But then when it comes to you, what are you doing for yourself? We always talk about putting that time in on ourselves, where we can help, where we can grow. If you're not managing your time correctly, you're going to burn out. I cringed one time. I was in this leadership seminar, and somebody was saying, oh, and they were giving the seminar, and they said, oh, you need to be able to put in 10 to 12 to 15 hours days to be successful. And I'm sitting there going cringing, because I'm like, that? I can't do that, and I'm not going to. I think that's some bad advice, because sooner or later, this person is going to burn out. It doesn't work. We only have 24 hours a day, and we do really need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So you want to set up some little time slots to where you get your rest, you get your sleep, and you just have some me time. We're going to also talk about the difference between urgent and important tasks, because that's a difference, right? That is different as well. And we're going to talk about how to categorize those tasks. Focus on your high value activities, and make sure that those high value activities are aligning with your business goals. A lot of times we get pushed, and what is occurring is that our interrupters is driving us, and they end up driving our business, and we end up in a reactive state. We want to make sure that we're putting in a time management plan that will allow us to stay in the driver's seat as much as we possibly can. A lot of times interrupters, we can't do anything about them. But what we want to do is be able to lay our plan out and have a plan to where we know how, if we're moved out of the driver's seat, we can move ourselves back into it. Now, you say to yourself, okay, why would I want to have a time management plan? Here's what's going to happen, and I dare you to try it. It's going to improve your work-life balance. You want to be able to balance your life. Again, what's the purpose of doing all, trying to generate a business, grow a business, have a profit, generate revenue, all of that, if you're not going to be able to enjoy it? Improve communication skills. You're going to develop a way of speaking and talking and providing expectations, because when you have a time management plan, it means that you're going to be able to sit down and discover what and determine what is really needed in order to get a task done. You will be able to sit down and actually do a thought process that will help you move your business towards to being sustainable, where you'll be able to grow it, whether you're in the midst of trying to sell it or whatever, you'll be able to communicate that. And the thing that really is good about time management is that you're going to become super intentional. You'll be very surprised that when you start developing your time management skills, how you will become super intentional. And one of the things that is really interesting to me about that is we're incorporating back into time management development is being intentional about being with your family, setting that scheduled time to be with them, setting that scheduled time to take care of your health. And in the meantime, you are also growing and scaling and sustaining your business to a point to where when something like COVID happens, you're able to pivot and adapt. And that is one of the most key things about time management, being able to pivot and adapt. Better decision making. If you are being driven by an interrupter, and an interrupter can be COVID, an interrupter can be anything like the market downturn, like the 2008 crash that a lot of people are still trying to get over. If you have a time management plan and you are managing your time to where you're putting in time to where you're going back and you're looking at your business plan. Because we all know that any business that is in business, it just grows. It grows. And sometimes things happen to where you change. And so you want to be able to go back and look at your business plan, determine whether or not, hey, you know, I started out with this thought, but I'm no longer lining up with my goals, my vision, my mission. Is that something I want to sit and reevaluate? But you have to have that time to do that. Reduce the stress and burnout. Oh my gosh. When you stress, when there is a high level of stress in any business, it can cause it could be very detrimental to your health. It's very costly. As a single person or someone who is a micro business owner, if I have some downtime, it takes me 2 to 3 weeks. It will take me 2 to 3 weeks to recoup and recover and go back. And if it's all due to stress, that can be eliminated because I will be able to, if I'm able to manage my time, I'm going to schedule my doctor's appointments. I'm going to schedule some time in order to give me breaks to where I don't have any major downtime because of stress. Burnout, the same thing. And if you have employees and you're putting a lot of tasks on them more than they can handle, they're going to get stressed, they're going to get burnout. And what are you going to get? You're going to get call-ins. I can't come to work today. I'm not feeling well. That costs your company and it costs your corporation. It costs. Balancing time, family, and professional life. We don't have for 24 hours a day. Now, can I stress that enough? And we need to definitely look at the major interrupters. They are children. Children are the biggest and the major. So we need to make, when we are doing our business plan, not our time management plan, we want to make sure that we are factoring that in. And when I say this too, also, your time management plan is going to end up being something that is personal, something that fits your schedule, that fits what your business does, that fits what your need is. So that's why you want to, only you can determine what that is, but you really want to make sure that you understand that a child is a major interrupter. And one of the things that I really want to stress too, a lot of times we have a tendency as small business owners, we allow our business to just be president, to take precedence in our life. That's not exactly what we want to do. We want to succeed professionally, but we also, I cannot again say this, set aside time for our own well-being. And we just, in doing that and doing a time management plan, you'll be able to incorporate and intermingle your personal and family life into your professional life. And we want to be successful about that so that we can improve our emotional and mental well-being. This is great. All right. Feeling like there's not enough time is always a common struggle. It is a struggle. And what ends up happening is that when you have a time management plan, I promise you, you're going to discover that you're going to discover where you're wasting time at. It could be that you're procrastinating. You're not willing to do a task because you feel like oh, I don't want to do that. But what ends up happening is that when you procrastinate, it kills it. It kills your business. You're not able to move forward. You may need to respond to someone quickly, or you may have a customer that you don't want to deal with. But if you sit down and you really put that time, take that time in and realize this one customer is going to take you 30 minutes. Or you may have an employee you don't want to deal with. And you may want to sit down and make sure that you have that time so that you'll be able to have some conversation. So things that you have a tendency to procrastinate on that is really important towards your business, you want
Seem to
to get
see.
that into your time as well.
Judith, it just froze for just a minute. You're now back, but maybe that last sentence might not have come through, and it might be my internet. I do see that flashing through, but
Okay.
go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, just not feeling like you have enough time, and sometimes that is a struggle. So, what you want to do is just be intentional about it. You don't want to procrastinate to where you're putting something off that needs to be done. It's very important. You don't want to allow distractions. Distractions is also a major interrupter. All right. We have this tendency, and I know this came back from the industrial age where huge manufacturers, Ford and all of them, they were focusing on productivity and output. And but the thing of it is, today we've moved on. We're in what we call the technology age. And productivity is great, but productivity does not really fit into the time management scheme plan as much as it does because as it used to, because then it was a singular thing. Now it's a multifaceted thing. Productivity incorporates time management as well as change management, as well as organization management. All these things are incorporated in your productivity. So when you're looking at your business plan and you're managing your time, you want to look at ways that you can increase your productivity. And you want to create an environment for yourself and your team in order to, again, develop that work-life balance. And the reason why you want to do that, because it's going to reduce your costs. It's going to create your creativity, and it's going to encourage innovation. When you have someone that's burnt out and they are stressed, they don't think well. You don't think well. So you want to make sure that you have that work-life balance and create your calendar to where you are able to plan some time for yourself as well. The Eisenhower matrix, it is really something that's used by a lot of project managers, but it's also task management tool that I find that is very, very simple. It's easy to use. And if you are working with a teammate or an employer, an employee, or even if you are a micro business owner, you're able to utilize this tool because it's very simple. The first thing you want to do is divide your task. A task is what drives your activity. Activity is what you want to do when you're moving forward and try to make your business sustainable, scalable. Let's say, for an example, you're at a point where you're ready to go to the bank and apply for a loan. Now, if you are being driven by the interrupter is making all decisions, which is moving you into a reactive state. But let's say you have a management plan and you know that you're getting ready to go to the bank to apply for a loan, and you blocked off for just a certain amount of time to deal with that. That's what we're talking about, an activity that's going to drive you to the point of where you're going to be able to scale. So you need to decide on what task will I need to do first in order to get there? What task will I need to do later? And then you can look at what tasks can I delegate. As a micro business owner, delegating a task would mean something to me is that I will need to decide on what it is that I will be, that I can do, within the time that I have designated in order to accomplish my goal. A task that you want to delete is one where you're looking at, okay, this is a task that maybe I can accomplish, get rid of it, move it on, move it forward, but you're making a decision how you want to do that. And it may be something that you only need to do once. If it's something you want to do once, or you need to answer a lot of emails at one time, and you know you're not going to get a response back from them, those are the type of tasks that you can do really, really quick, get them over with, get them off your desk, and there's something on your to-do list that's going to help you move your business toward where you want it to go. Tracking and evaluating time. I am a believer in tracking, and I'm a believer in evaluating my time. And I take it why you want to track and evaluate any type of time management plan that you put in, because nothing is set in stone. Everything is movable. The parts are movable, and you may want to go back and say, look at it and say, is this something that is good for my business? I may need to spend more time here. I may need to devote an hour and a half to doing this task and decrease the hour and a half that you're doing on another task to maybe about an hour. So I suggest, they suggest what we do is create a weekly schedule with your dedicated time slots for your specific task. And then you want to go back and track that for in the track and back in a few days and look at that and see what type of pattern. Is it actually helping you to be able to identify the type of activities you need to do in order to move that activity towards you generating income? What is it that you need to do? What areas of improvement that you can take? Then you want to analyze it. Now, here's where you analyze it. Let's just say, for instance, you have two customers, two different types of customers. You have one customer that loves to talk, and then you have another customer that just wants you to answer the question. Within that customer that just wants you to answer that question, you would group that person into the group to where, okay, I can handle these amount of tasks in 30 minutes or an hour. This customer that has to talk, you have to manage that customer. And here's where the communication part is. I always impress on people to try to develop out the communication part, especially when you're in business, because you need to be able to clearly tell people what your expectations are, what you can and cannot do. And when you're dealing with customers or you're training someone in customer services, one of the things that they need to learn how to do is manage the conversation. And because reason why you want to do that, Because a lot of times what you want to do, be able to do to retain your customers. You spend a lot of money getting your customers. You spend a lot of money bringing in your employees. So you want to be able to retain your customer, retain your employee, and all of it comes down to how much time you want to devote to having that conversation with them, and that they come out feeling like they have actually gained. Identify your most productive time. When you want to identify your most productive time, the reason why you want to do that is, where do you want to put that time slot in to where, let's say we were talking about you going to apply for a bank loan. You need to have some productive time. When is your most productive time? So you wouldn't put that time slot in if you know you get really sleepy around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You definitely do not want to put that time slot there, because you're not going to be very alert. But if you're a morning person, which a lot of people are, they're morning people. So that would be the time to do it. But again, adapt that schedule, do your time slot and your time management plan based on your needs and your business need. Use realistic time to estimate to avoid overbooking yourself. I cannot stress that enough. One of the things that I work with one of my clients is that they are driven with customers, getting customers, getting customers. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that they overbook themselves and they haven't really sit down and just stop. So I'm working with them, trying to get them to stop and go back and not book yourself. You're really getting ready to burn out. So what you want to do is have a well-balanced time management plan, to where you have time to see your customers, your clients, you have time to do your business part of it, everything that you need to do. But you can't, when you book like 3 clients in a morning, that's all good and it looks really nice on TV when you see people do that on the movies. But in reality, you have to figure in your travel time, your time getting out of your car, getting all the things out of your car. So your travel time and all of that, you need to travel, you need to book, you need to factor that in. Let's say if you're going from for one event to the next, factor that in. And you're trying to talk on the phone and all of a sudden you're late. You don't, so you want to always factor in your travel time, the time it takes you to get out of your car, get all your products, get into the building, so you're not in a rushed and hurry. And you're not going to be distracted by things, phone calls and all of that. That you want to definitely figure that portion into your time management. Be flexible and adaptable as your schedule permits it. Again, you have interrupters out there. And when you have a time management plan, like when COVID hit, or a child gets sick, or something that happens that can affect your business, you want to be able to go back to your business plan and look at it and say, I need to critique this a little bit because I need to maybe go in this direction for now. But if you don't have time, or you haven't set aside time to work on your business plan as needed, what happens when you go back to it? You're going to have old information and you're not going to be able to maneuver it around. So you want to be able to set yourself up to where you're flexible and adaptable. Now, we're going to talk about right quick. We're going to identify some of the biggest distractions. Your biggest distractions in today. When I say we are in the artificial, we are in the technology, we are in the technology era. Social media. Social media can take up a lot of your time. But I will tell you this, artificial intelligence. Remember when I said artificial intelligence can be a negative impact or it can be a positive impact. Artificial intelligence can help you with manage your social media. But the two things that I will tell you to do is that when I was the one of the classes that I was in with SCORE, they introduced to us Chat GPT and Gemini. Those two, artificial intelligence, could really help you manage your social media. And I do wholeheartedly suggest that you check those out, because what they do is they'll go in and they would you could type it in and say, um, I want to say how beautiful the day is, and it'll type up a scenario. Now, the one thing about you, I caution you about, check fact. You want to make sure that you check and make sure that some of the information it provides you is correct, but it's great. It'll help you manage your time. And you sometimes we spend way too much time doing social media. And one of the things that social media, I see that a lot of large corporations, they're going to be identifying individuals. So that I think that's going to create some new job skills for people, because social media is something really big. It's becoming part of a marketing tool, and you may not need to hire a huge marketing company to do it. Email notifications, oh, great. All right, when you're working with your emails, you want to make sure that you identify your emails, the kind that the ones that where you're going to say you'll be able to say, okay, I can do about I can answer these, I can close these out and delete. But then you have some that's going to be urgent or there's a need. So it just all depends on. You want to make sure that you use artificial when you're doing your artificial intelligence. Also, check out the website blockers and focus apps. All of these things are great tools to help you grow your business, go and scale your business. Now, a lot of us are, let me say, a lot of large corporation CEOs, a lot of people, we don't like to delegate. But here's where your communication tools come in. You want to manage your time, because you may want to delegate some of that, delegate that. You have someone that you could say, hey, can you do this for me? They may not do it like you do, but once you train them, and that's where your communication comes in. Once you train them, you're able to do that. Or you're outsourcing. When you're outsourcing, when you're training someone, you want to clearly communicate your expectations and your deadlines. It helps you manage your time. It keeps you from going back and correcting someone that may have made a mistake. Prioritizing. When you're prioritizing, you identify your tasks, do you want to identify those tasks that require immediate attention, whether they're urgent or something that you can put in and say, oh, this is important, but it's not quite something I need to work on now. And you could want to just delegate that to another team member, which you may want to take a little bit of training. But again, managing your time. These are all things that help you manage your time. Calendars. Calendars, divide your calendar between your work and your personal. You always want to make sure you keep the two separate, but at the same time, always remember that they are always interrelated. And then you want to look at where you're spending your time. What are you spending your time doing? Is it something that's going to manage your business, to help you grow your business, to where you're scaling it and making it sustainable? Or are you doing something that's not counterproductive, that you may looking at and you're thinking, no, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not what I want to do. So these are some of the things that when you have your time management plan laid out, you'll be able to look at those things and planning and scheduling. Of course, we all have that old thing that we call it the to-do list. The to-do list, it does tie in with your task list. Because when you have a task list and you have a to-do list and you want to marry the two together, the task list may not get closed out until you get some of your to-do list, some things on your to-do list done, then you can close that particular task out. So you want to do that planning and scheduling where you go in and you either want to look at it on a daily basis or look at it every 2 days, but you do want to take your management plan and put it in place to where you're able to utilize it to where it's going to grow your business, make your business scalable, where you'll be able to generate new revenue. Especially in today's time, they tell everybody now, today's time is recommended that you have not just not revenue, one thing for revenue, that you look at growing, having at least 2 to 3 veins of revenue. All right. These are just some of the things that I thought that I would add on for you, just some ideas. It's about smart calendars, how using artificial intelligence to help you manage and grow your business. And one thing I do will like to say, artificial intelligence, not everything is the same. Not everything is the same. And that's why you want to schedule out a little bit of time to do your research and discover which one is actually good for your business. Which one is going to help your business? You may find that you can use Calendly more. Then, you may find that you want to be able to use Google Calendar. Whichever one is easier for your business and the best for your business. And always, always when you're out there and you're looking at all these different artificial intelligence tools that are going to be able to support your business, you want to be very careful about it because security is just one of the main things. So you want to be very careful when you're out there. And even if you have a team or an employee, you want to make sure that you're always operating under a secure website and that you're always working with a secure website. Personal assistance, AI, I am to the point now myself that I'm getting ready to do some research on whether or not which way I'm going to handle that. Because I'm at the point now to where I've scaled enough, my business is at a point where I'm ready to grow. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to use a personal assistant to help me or how do I want to do that. Time tracking software is not necessarily for a micro business, but for a larger corporation or a large business or a business that has 50 or more employees or 25 more employees, it may be a tool that's worth investing in. Project management platforms. Solutions like Asana and Trello. I was talking about Asana, and back during the Matrix, they use that as a project management tool to try to help people to compartmentalize. It helps you compartmentalize your tasks so that you're able to move your project. Let's be honest, our projects, our businesses, we can all break them down into projects. We really can. We can break them down into projects because if you look at it, you're heading towards trying to go into the bank, you're asking for a loan. That's a project. That really is a project, and you should really treat it as a project, because if you want, you have more successful in getting that loan, and you can be more efficiently and productive and produce a really nice product when you treat it as a project. So let's be, some of those tools that project management can provide for us, it really is great. You can track, you can do your real time project insights, but at the same time, you can do all of this manually without purchasing some of that. Your communication tools. I'm gonna tell this quick story. Um, After COVID, I learned quickly what I needed to learn. And one of the things that I do know is like I've gotten pretty proficient with using Zoom. And I know that Microsoft has one as well. And a lot of people like to use that one as well. But I had a customer, and she's a micro manager, a micro business owner like myself, and she had knee surgery. Well, one of the things that I thought about, I was like, why are we meeting anyway, first face to face, when we can accomplish the same thing doing Zoom, or we could do one of the Microsoft Teams meetings, whichever one that is compatible for her. And it works. It works. Now, how much time are we saving when we are able to create and do things through Zoom or Microsoft Teams? A lot. If you think about your travel time, again, your travel time, getting out, going into the restaurant is not as personable, but at the same time, you can save a lot of time. And that's one of the things you want to do. Use your AI tools in order to help you to run your business. Resource management software, that's something that I'm also beginning to look into, because I want to decide how I want to do this. I am a very, very supportive person of human resource, and I know a lot of people don't utilize it. Uh, and they don't think it's is as important as it should be. But I always think that when you are working with employees, that having a managing your employees is very important. Again, it's very expensive to hire, train, and then someone leaves, and now you got to do the paperwork to for them to leave, and now you got to re-advertise again. So human resource and resource management software, I might look into that, but again, these are some of the tools that you can utilize that's going to be customized for your business. And then meeting optimization apps. I tell you, when you're talking with someone or you have a meeting with someone and you know that you have maybe about an hour or hour and a half to work with that person or however you want to, it is really great to when if you have a meeting and you are working with them that is being recorded for you, that the minutes are being recorded for you, and that's what that is. There are different tools out there to where they will automatically record those minutes for you. You don't have to wait on somebody to translate and record. So those are tools out there that you have, and that is really important, especially if you've been in a meeting with someone for about an hour, hour and a half, and a lot of things ahead, or even when you get together and you're doing a storming session, it's really good to have. It's a really great tool to have. Takeaway. The takeaway I want you to have on this is this. Effective time management is a journey. It's not a destination. You never get to the end of it. It is a journey. And the more you do it and the more you incorporate it into your life, the more you incorporate it into your professional and business life, the better you are to manage your time when you're with your family or with your business, and you're more you're more successful in growing your business to where it is sustainable. And that's the important part, is making your business to where it's sustainable. I don't care whether it's a large corporation or a small corporation, you want to make your business sustainable. One of the major things that Wall Street did not do, and the reason why they had such a downward market crash, were that it was not sustainable. It was not sustainable. Now, whether that was intentional or unintentional, the truth of the matter, it was not sustainable. So if you want to have your business to grow and be manageable, you want to manage your time and you want to make it sustainable. And it's a journey, it's not a destination. Experiment and find what works for you. Use some of these tools. Go out and do a little bit of research. But the important thing is start off with the basic four. You want to have these four little baskets. What is it that I can do now? What is it that I need to do? What is it I have to do? What is it that I don't have to do? And then what you want to do is evaluate and say, what is the return on my time? Is it increased? Has it increased my time where I have enough more time to do some of the things that I need to do either personally or business wise? And embrace the potential. Or can I say this now? AI is not going anywhere, so we may as well embrace it and learn how to utilize it to where we can grow and scale our business. And the other one is be intentional about your productivity and managing your time. All right. Thank you and have a blessed day. And thank you for listening today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Or if you just want to discuss and have a discussion, I'm all good for that.
That's great. If anybody out there does have any questions, if you could type those into the Q&A, then Judith will get those answered for you. And I will just flip through a few screens here in a second. Oh, things I took notes on. Urgent versus important tasks. I really liked the one that the task that you delete. That's how you prioritize. I like those. That's how I do my to-do list every single day. And I hate to say that, but yep, that's how I get rid of some things, get those off my calendar is just delete, delete. And but one thing I particularly liked about your to-do list is when you talked about dedicated time slots, because I do a to-do list every single day, but I don't necessarily put everything in a time slot. So really enjoyed that part as well.
Great,
Let's
great, great, great.
see.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just going to share my screen. Just another reminder, if anybody does have a question, go ahead and type that into the Q&A box and we will get those questions answered for you. And you can find us at score.org/Minnesota, where you can request a mentor or find other functions. Everybody will receive a copy of today's slides and the video presentation in their email. And I'd like to thank everybody for attending today. We will send you a survey so you can let us know what we can do to improve or other topics that you may be interested in. I do have something in the Q&A. Oh, well, just a thank you note from one of our participants that they enjoyed the relevant information and appreciated that. So thank you so much for saying that. Let's see. And if we have anything else, can type those in Q&A. And if not, Judith, thank you so
You're welcome.
much for your presentation today. My dad was a college professor and he used to start every class by saying, you should be able to, and he had a to-do list up on the top screen. So I truly appreciated that part of the conversation. I'm like, oh, it's still relevant. That's good.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for participating and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.